Hello and welcome to Mixing It Up. We have had several mixers asking if you can see two layouts at a time. So today I thought I would take a few minutes and show you how to do that. Now there are several reasons why you would want to have two pages up at a time. The first one being you wanted a photo or a title or some sort of an embellishment to spread two different layouts. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind as you're doing that. First, you want the pages to be on the right side of each other. And so if you're making a book in MemoryMixer that we're going to print for you, is that your odd pages will always be on the left-hand side. That way you know that your pages will be the appropriate spread. And two, there is a book binding where we actually hook your pages together. And so there is just a little area where the pages fold or curve inside of the binding. So there's a little slim part of the layout that you don't actually see, which actually makes it easier for you because if the pictures don't line up exactly right, nobody will even see it. So it just gives you a little fudge factor, but you still have the same effect of your photo going across two pages. So when I am creating a photo that will spread across two pages or title or anything, you can use the same principles. The first thing I want to do is go ahead and turn off my book guides. Now those are on automatically with MemoryMixer just to help people if they are going to make a book that they do not want to put important things in that trim area. The next thing I want to do is I'll lay out my page, get it created how I wanted, and this one I wanted about half of it's actually about a third of the picture to be on this page, and then the rest of the picture to be on the next page. So I've laid out my picture so it looks approximately like that. Done all my layouts. The next thing I want to do is turn on my guides, and I do want to turn on my snap to guide, and you just find that in view and snap to guide. Now I already had it turned on, or snap to grid, sorry. I've got that turned on already, and you can see over here that this picture just lines up perfectly in this along this grid and here. That will help me ensure that it's going to be in the same position on the next page. So as if I'm moving it or adjusting it, I have not changed my alignment. So I'll go ahead and come over here. The next thing I'll do is duplicate my page. So I'll simply right click on my thumbnail and then I'll click duplicate page, and MemoryMixer will make a duplicate page just like that. So now that I've got my page duplicated, I kind of notice here about where this photo is positioned on the page. So something else to keep in mind, I had made the picture about as big as I wanted it. However, you want to make sure you have enough room that if you want your picture to slide off, if you've made it bigger, that there is room for that picture to go. If there's not enough room, it doesn't allow you to move the picture over as far as you might like. So if you're having trouble getting your picture to the right as far as you can or the left, make sure you have opened up MemoryMixer wide. And the easiest way to do that is just to click on, in fact, I'll move it over so I can show you. So I've got my site here. All I need to do is come along this edge and just drag it out further. So make sure MemoryMixer is open wide enough, and then you'll be able to move your picture. Now you won't be able to move it all off the page, but that's okay. That's not what we needed to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just maybe going to move a few of these embellishments out of the way. I don't want to delete them because I may use them again on this page. So now I am just going to take this picture and drag it. If you notice, you can just see a little bit of her shorts in that first page. So now you can see most of the whole picture. And I had cropped this picture a little bit too, so it wasn't as tall. And now you can see that is pretty close. You can just see a little bit of her shorts over here. Now, if you want to do some fine tuning where you just nudge your picture just a little bit, you'll want to turn off your snap to grid, because if I use my arrow key now to nudge, it takes it a whole square. And so I am going to simply come back up to view and turn off snap to grid. Now I can use my arrow key and you can just see it's just moving ever so slightly. And now I can fine tune it. So, okay, you can see the end of her shorts there. So I'm just going to maybe allow a little extra room for the binding of my book, but you can see now how you can line up two pages. So now just to double check your work, we're going to simply come up to View, Page Windows. That is where you're going to be able to see multiple pages at a time. So now I'm just going to reposition so I can see I can fit a couple of pages side by side. And now I will come down and press on Fit. So now my layout fits completely within that window. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off the grid so you can see a little easier. So this is my page 2. We have it open. Now all I need to do is click on page 1 because that's my coordinating page. Now its page or this layout comes in as the same size as the other one that you had established originally. So now I'm just going to resize the window, and I've gone a little bit too small, but so I've resized my window, and now I can position my pages side by side. And you can see that feels pretty close. There's maybe a little bit extra room where the binding's going to be, but when it gets all bound, I can that will be hidden. But if I wanted to fine tune it just a little more, I simply click on the page I want to work on. You can only work on one page at a time, but I've clicked on that, and now I can use my arrow keys and just nudge it ever so slightly. So you can see how easy that is. I'll go ahead and show you. I finished the right side of our spread, just taking the same embellishments and rearranging them. Now, if you wanted, so we'll just go ahead and line it up while we've got it here. So you can see how your pages and elements coordinate with each other as well. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my page windows. And to do that, you go to View, and now it's a maximize page. So once you have that done, you'll see your layout in the corner again, but make sure you come back to your Fit button so you can see the whole page a little bit bigger. So I've got another layout that I have created here. And I wanted to create a coordinating page. And I think this is another time when the page windows is really helpful, because you want your pages to look like they belong together, but you don't necessarily want them to be exactly the same. So what you can do is we'll go back up here to View, Page Window. And it'll bring up other page windows that you may have had open earlier. So just simply click on the little red X and close those. I'm just closing this one right here. We'll close that one. Move this out of the way, and I'll close the one behind. Now remember, the first thing I like to do is to size my window so I can see multiple pages at a time. So I've got it sized, and if you work on a square page, you want to make sure you have sort of a square layout there, a square shape. And I'm going to go ahead and do the Fit button. And I have already created another page that coordinates with that. I just went ahead and clicked on it, so it's open. But what I started with is I double-clicked and duplicated this page like I did in the previous example. And then I just started moving the same embellishments around, but I decided I wanted 4 photos this time. And then I said I want it to be a little, have a little more variation between. So I just replaced the background, and I used the background that I had used for my paper piecing here. And then I used the background I'd used here for my paper piecing on this side. Now you can't drag from one to the other, but it is very simple to click on a page. I was working on this page, so it just takes a second for it to select on this page. And now I can do my same feature, so I can copy. Then I could click on this page over here. And you can see the one that is selected. It's just a little darker blue here. And now I'm going to paste. And now you're free to move that embellishment around wherever and however you want. So that is also a great way to create coordinating pages. The third option or reason that you might want to have more window panes open at a time is if you're trying to choose between several. Now, I used this. I'm just closing these. Just take a second here. I used this feature when I was creating the wedding announcement for my daughter. You can create multiple invitations. And when I'm designing, sometimes I'll get an element or a page so far, and then I'm stuck and I want to keep tweaking it, but I really like it. I just don't know if it's quite there yet. I'll go ahead and duplicate that page, and then I'll just start fiddling with it on the next page. But yet I have not undone any of the work and thinking, oh, what did I have before? So I had created 3 layouts that coordinated here just to illustrate this idea how you can see multiples at once. And I maybe should have made them just a little bit smaller first. So you do want to consider how many pages you want to put up. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this one or close that one because the other pages come in the same size, and that's important when you're especially trying to line up things. You just want to make sure that you have the same size. So I'm going to go ahead and just make it a little smaller so I can fit more pages. And remember to press the fit button. Now I can tighten that up just a little bit. Now I'm going to click on my next page. And now it's the exact size. I just need to resize the window around it. And then one more. And you can see depending on the size of or how many pages you want to illustrate at once determines the size of the box you want to start with. So I'd had 3 pictures or 3 layouts here, and now I can decide, okay, which ones do I like? How do they coordinate together? It just enables you to see them all at once, and sometimes that is the easiest way to choose between things, is to be able to view them all at once. So rather than trying to see them small in the thumbnail, which is great when you're doing coordinated pages, you can get a good sense here, but be able to bring up the pages and look at them side by side is really helpful. So when I was making my daughter's wedding invitation, this came in really handy because I could look at multiple at once, and she was able then to choose which one she liked. Or you can say, oh, I like this part of one and I like this part of another, and you can combine them. So this is a really handy feature. Remember to turn it off. You just simply come to View and Maximize Page. And then remember to change it to fit so you can see your page. So when you want to turn on page windows, View Page Windows, and then to turn them off, it's Maximize Page. I hope you find this Mixing It Up tutorial helpful. Hope to see you next time. Happy mixing!